Excuse the noise in the background. The dogs have just finished their meal for the morning half of the day. I want to go over some of the practices that I use to keep my dogs healthy. I am very particular about what my dogs consume because the animal product industry does not care if your animals die, in my opinion, and I have proven so by some of the things that are in animal products. One, I don't buy treats because treats are dog killers. I make all my own treats by using these frozen things, and yes, they just finished them this morning, so they haven't gone in the dishwasher yet. I have multiple of these and they go in the dishwasher. Leave my yogurt alone. You can't have yogurt. You've already had it for today. And I use these mats to bake treats and training treats. All human grade and only good things for dogs in. Plus I have a dehydrator where I dehydrate my own meat treats. I do things like I make my own homemade yogurt for probiotics. All the sources that I put in my foods are the absolute best sources, like Manuka honey, and you must have at least 30 plus. I use 50 plus. And I use Olewo, which is a German product. It is dehydrated carrot pellets that are specially formulated. When you rehydrate it, this is what it looks like. You mix it with oil and hot water, and this is what it looks like. I'm getting ready to mix up a batch of stuff for them. That's why I have all these ingredients out. So I figured while I have it out, I will mix up a batch. I also give them brewer's yeast, and I give them ground flaxseed. And I always use all organic, all the best quality products. You've seen that I use these for training treats and food topper. Ziwi Peak. They are safe and healthy. I always check all ingredients, where it's sourced, and everything. I really recommend Ziwi Peak. You can see it's New Zealand sourced. Their process for making them is healthy. I stand behind this product 100%. I've already been out working my dogs this morning, feeding them. Stay away from he's a yogurt freak, okay? I will tell you, he is a yogurt freak. Here's a close, my camera's not adjusting to the ingredients, so I will have to read it out. First thing you want to see, you don't want to see byproduct or anything like that. Here you go. See if I can zoom in on that. Because the first product, it's not going to zoom in. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can make it zoom in. There you go. Beef. And beef tripe, beef heart, beef lung, beef liver, beef kidney. It lists everything separately. It's all parts. Okay? This is super healthy. You can't get any healthier than this. Let's go back to one. We're going to zoom out. This is the grain-free that I feed. And notice it's grain-free, but it's healthy because it's legume-free. When people say don't feed grain-free because it's not healthy, it's because of the legumes. That's why when people are vegan, they still die from heart disease because they eat too many legumes in their diet. And legumes will not allow your heart to have taurine. And taurine is essential for heart health. And that's why grain-free can be bad. If you do not buy legume-free, grain-free food, that is your problem. That is why grain-free can be bad if you don't buy the right grain-free food. First ingredient, beef, not byproduct. There you go. Now, I do not like that this has things like beet pulp in it. You really don't want beet pulp. However, it beats the other things that it will have. And again, it will have things like beef, pork meal, oat flour, pearled barley, egg, brown rice, which is much better than any other of those kinds. Okay, Menhaden fish, which it doesn't have a fishy smell. I don't like foods with a fishy smell, and I try to stay away from fish because ethoxyquin is a fish preservative, and they don't have to put it into the ingredient list on the bag. But I have contacted the company themselves, and they researched and told me that there is no ethoxyquin, that they buy the Menhaden in cans. So they are not dried, therefore they would not have ethoxyquin on the fish. And because it's cancer causing. So if you buy a fish-based dog meal or cat meal, it can have ethoxyquin, and they do not have to list it in the ingredients. And that causes your animal to have cancer. Sunflower oil, it's a little better than some of the oils, but I really don't like to see a lot of oils. Cauliflower, beef hearts, beef liver. So there you go. There's your good sources of the organ meats. Brewer's yeast, pumpkin, carrot, tomato pomace, which I'm not thrilled with, but you're going to have ingredients you're not thrilled with in every dried dog food. That's why I feed them meat as well. So it's a kibble. You're going to get things that you really don't care for. But now that the stores don't allow you, and the government doesn't allow you to buy everything that would make a healthy raw meal, which I have in the past fed my dogs a healthy raw meal. When I lived in Pennsylvania, I could get freshly slaughtered animal every day. I was able to do that. Now you just can't do it anymore. Feeding raw is not going out and getting roadkill. It's not going to the grocery store and getting cheap packaged meats. That is not feeding raw. Feeding raw, you have to have so much percentage bone meal. You have to have so much percentage muscle meat. You have to have offal. You have to have organ meat. You have to have the exact diet they need. And you cannot feed animals unprocessed vegetation because they can't process it. That's why they eat the digestive tract of their prey, because the only way that they can digest vegetable matter is to eat it already digested from... Will you two quit playing because I'm online? Well, I'm videoing. Every time I start videoing, you two start noisy play. Be good. And no, you're not getting the yogurt, you yogurt freaks. They know I have their fill ball up here. Anyhow, they cannot just eat vegetation, even if you cook it and be able to take the nutrients from it. That's why I feed the carrot supplement. Especially to a red and black German Shepherd show line. That's why that's a German product and imported from Germany, because it's for them, specifically designed for them. But it has a lot of vitamin A, so I do also feed it to my reptiles. So yes, I do use that for my reptiles. Where I was going with this is you want to make sure that you're feeding a food that does not want you to feed 8 to 12 cups. You want a food that when you touch the inside of the bag, it's not greasy and stinky and gross. You want a food that does not have products in it to firm your dog's stool. If it has to firm your dog's stool, it is not a healthy product. You want to check the date on your dog's food. If they are using dates that are way out and that has a lot of preservatives, you don't want to feed that. My dogs eat 2.5 cups of this a day. But then again, I'm also feeding the topper as well as the other things that I feed. Plus, they get, the topper for training and everything else as well. You want to look at the crude protein, the crude fat, the fiber. Moisture is a big one. I also do a moisture test on all kibbles. You take a couple pieces of the kibble, you put it into a cup of water and you leave it for 24 hours and you watch the kibble and how it behaves in water. How it behaves, quiet, get your ball. You watch how it behaves in, no playing with each other, bargaining. Go get your ball and go play. Oh, she has your other ball. She's teasing you. Down. The kibble, if it swells up, you don't want to feed it to your dog because then your dog can bloat. You don't want gastric bloat. Swelling kibble is one of the #1 reasons why a dog will bloat, because it'll eat all the food that you give it. Most people will feed an adult dog 1 meal a day. Quiet. I feed twice a day. Especially in summer, because I don't want a hot dog eating a large meal. And then, I'm sorry, I think that paused. I don't want a large dog. Eli, stop. I'll get it in a minute. I don't want a large dog needing it in the middle of the day. Sorry, I had to pause to get them water. Okay. You don't want the dog to get bloat because of how much dog food is in their gut and doing activities and getting hot, as well as them having dog food swelling up because the kibble has nothing but grain in it and then the water swelled it up. So those are the main basics. I make sure that #1, I do not buy cheap treats. That is huge. That is really huge. Do not buy cheap treats. Do not give them things that are not meant for dogs, no matter what it is. I mean, these are human products here in front of me, but they are all safe for dogs. They are in dog foods. So when I make something like the frozen treat thing, I add it to it. Yogurt, flaxseed, all of that is already in dog stuff. So it's safe. It's top quality stuff. But what you don't want to give is medications unless you take them to the vet and a vet tells you to give it to them. This can cause problems to a dog. Don't do that. Just because it was safe one time or you thought it was, it could come back because it could have caused damage inside the dog. I also give my dogs fresh eggs from my chickens, which I'm not showing here. They get fed eggs 3 days of the week. Sometimes they get cottage cheese mixed in with their food. I vary it up here and there. They don't have to have anything in their food in order to eat it because they do love it. The other thing I wanted to mention is, you see this AAFCO? They talk about it all the time. Nutritional levels established by AAFCO. Seriously, AAFCO is a joke. AAFCO is a joke. There is a dog food out there that everybody thinks is a really good dog food. And they'll say, AAFCO standards. Please double check all ingredients. Because yeah, it is by AAFCO standards safe to put in the dog food. But if you go look up the ingredient and what AAFCO says about it, it's blood meal. And what it is AAFCO says makes a better fertilizer for the fields than it does a dog food additive. However, they still allow it to be in the dog food. And that bag is like $60 or $70, I think, for a 25-pound bag of food. You cannot go by price of dog food. You can't. You cannot go by price. Price has nothing to do with whether a dog food is good or not good. You have to learn the language used. The language is a lot of it. You have to learn how it's worded. And you have to learn the numbers here. Price has nothing to do with it. Nothing. You don't want to feed anything. If they use corn, don't buy it. If there is corn in it, don't buy it. If there's peas and legumes in it, don't buy it. Those are the 3 most harmful things. Corn, peas, and legumes. If it has those 3 things, do not buy that dog food. Okay? I am always happy to look at a dog food and tell you what could be better about it, what could not be better about it. There's going to be something wrong with all processed dog foods. You're not going to find one that's perfect. You are not. This is a good dog food that we chose as a family, and my dogs are still on it because Lucas was allergic to chicken. If he had any chicken in his system, he would have explosive diarrhea. That is the only thing his food allergy did for him. Explosive diarrhea. He didn't get skin issues from his food diarrhea. It was completely managed. That is not why he left my home. As long as we fed all of our dogs beef, he didn't get a hold of any chicken, it was not a problem. It had nothing to do with why he left my home. Absolutely zero truth to that made up lie. There is no reason why Lucas left my home because of dog food. None. You see what level I go to in the care of feeding my dogs. This is all of my dogs. And I have less dogs now than I ever owned in my life. Because there were 4 dogs living here for over a year. And I've always had at least 3 dogs. Always. Now I only own 2 dogs. For the last 14 years, I've owned 3 dogs at all times. At all times. Now I only own 2 dogs here. Only 2 dogs living on the property. Full time. So, this is it, folks. Bye.